I'm Lexi. I'm in the US. I don't know about any of you, but every year around the holidays, and I know we're still a little ways off from that, but we're kinda close. Every year around the holidays, I struggle trying to figure out some desserts because I've got some family members that are diabetic, and I still want to be able to provide tasty, yummy, indulgent desserts for them that don't have the sugar. But I also very much hate the artificial sugars. They all taste awful to me. I know a lot of people say that they can't taste a difference or they don't notice an aftertaste or what have you, but I think they all taste horrible. And I don't want to compromise what I know could be very good baking with an artificial sugar that's going to leave a horrible aftertaste or be tasted, be noticed, that you can tell a difference. So it's a real struggle for me to figure out alternatives. But this is one that I made once last year and it came out very well and I want to show it to all of you. It came about because I was thinking one day, just out of nowhere, because that's how my brain works, what's really in those cans that you buy for pumpkin pie filling? Well, clearly it's got the pumpkin and the spices and the sugar, and then you add evaporated milk and eggs and put it in a pie crust and bake it. And then I thought about, well, what's in pumpkin butter? Pumpkin, spices, sugar. Is there any real reason that you can't add eggs, evaporated milk, put it in a pie crust and bake it? And then my brain went a step further. Apple butter. Apples, sugar, spices. Is it going to work the same if you add evaporated milk, eggs, put it in a pie crust and bake it? And then you can get sugar-free apple butter. And it's still perfectly sweet because the apples are sweet, but without having to add sugar or without having to add a sugar substitute. So no, this recipe is not sugar-free because there's the natural sugar in the apples. But it is low sugar because there is no added sugar. So I tried it and it came out. And I'm probably going to make it for Christmas this year or Thanksgiving. I'm not really sure which yet. But let's head into the kitchen and I'll show you how to make it. Hi! So this is some apple butter that I made a few weeks ago off of apples on my tree. We're just gonna pop that open. And this is sugar-free apple butter. So it's just the apples and the spices and a little bit of lemon juice. And that is going to be our first ingredient. You know what? I need a scraper to get all that apple buttery goodness out of that jar. This is a 1 pint jar, so about 16 ounces. There. And to that, we are going to add 1 can of evaporated milk. This is a 12-ounce can, and I forgot to open it ahead of time, so 1 second. All right, whole jar, whole can just goes in there. And then 3 eggs. I know when you do a pumpkin pie recipe, it's just 2 eggs. But I've made this before, and I really felt there's a piece of shell in there. like it needed an extra egg. So we're going to try it that way today. I'm going to go wash my eggy hands. And that is all the ingredients that goes into this. Because when you're making a pumpkin pie with the pumpkin pie mix, all it is pumpkin pie mix, evaporated milk, eggs, and sugar. And we are omitting the sugar because we're going for sugar-free. Or no sugar added. There's going to be some natural sugar in the apples. Now, there are some sugar-free apple butters on the market that you can use for this, and that's what I used the first time I did this. I just happened to have some of my own this time. Well, I made some of my own, knowing that I wanted to do this recipe again. Okay, so we've got that under control. Get this cleaned up a little bit. And now we need something to put the pie in, don't we? I know last time we made a pie on here, I made my own pie crust and talked about how pie crust at the store had gotten expensive, and that hasn't changed. I just did not have it in me today to fight through making a pie crust and rolling out a pie crust on camera. So I bought a pie crust. I will continue to work on the skill of making my own pie crust, and I am quite certain we'll see that again on here because I like pie. So pie crust, apple butter pie filling, and this is going to go into the oven and you're going to bake it just like you would a pumpkin pie, which is 425 degrees for 15 minutes, and then you back it down to 350 degrees for another 40 minutes until when you insert like a toothpick or a cocktail skewer, it comes out clean. And then you want to let this cool completely until it's set before cutting into it. So that means I will see you back in a minute with future me to try this pie. Doesn't this look great? It's got the texture of pumpkin pie. It's a little bit less golden, but just look at that texture. And the moment we're all waiting for it to take a bite, right? Perfect texture. You would never know that this has no added sugar. The spices from the apple butter come through and beautiful and warming and cozy and everything we love about Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's the familiar texture of pumpkin pie. Actually, it kind of makes me want a pumpkin pie because I haven't had one in ages. But it's the exact same texture, creamy, decadent, but it's not heavy because you've got the brightness of the apple. This is absolutely delicious, and I don't understand why it's not a staple on holiday tables for maybe any other reason that no one's come up with it yet. Now, of course, you can use apple butter that's got sugar in it. I was just going another direction with this. But let me know if you want to try this, if you want to add it to your holiday table. It is definitely worth the try. It's familiar, but just different enough to be exciting. But that's all I've got for today. So if you could give the video a like and subscribe if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye!